Hi friends, Allie here. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet this skinny Pico headband. This cute headband pattern includes 8 sizes ranging from newborn to adult large, and it features a tie closure and these little bumpy stitches called Pico single crochets. If you're familiar with my work, then you know this is my favorite stitch and I have so many patterns that use it. This headband is actually a play off my most popular pattern, the Pico headband, which is thicker and more like an ear warmer. So I designed this skinny version for those warmer days when you want something to hold your hair back but don't want that extra warmth added. So here's the original Pico headband so you can see the difference. I'll also add a link in the description for the tutorial for this one if you want to make it as well. So the original has this knot front closure instead of the ties. It also has a wider band to keep your ears warm. But these both use the same row repeat, so they both have the same amazing texture. Before we get into our tutorial, if you want to check out the free written patterns for these designs, you can find them on my blog, theturtletrunk.com. You can also find the ad-free printable PDFs in my Etsy shop and on Ravelry. I'll leave links to all of those down below. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is up. Now, if you're ready to get started, let's head over to our supply list and our size chart. For yarn today, I'll be using Lion Brand Yarn's Color Theory, which is a medium 4-weight yarn. This is the color Bee Pollen, and it's a beautiful mustard yellow shade. This yarn is quite stretchy, and it's also really soft, so I've really been enjoying using it. But you can use any medium 4-weight yarn that you'd like. This pattern only uses about 30 to 40 yards of yarn, so this project is perfect for those leftover skeins you might have lying around. The other supplies you'll need for this pattern is a 5.5 millimeter or eye hook, scissors, and a yarn needle. Here is our size chart. As you can see, there are 8 sizes to choose from. So in the tutorial, I'll be making the teen/adult small, but you can follow along no matter what size you're making. So you're going to find your size on the chart. In the first column, you'll see the head circumference measurements in inches. In column 2, the headband circumference, which is about 2 inches smaller than the head size. If you're using super stretchy yarn or you're in between sizes, I would size down as this headband is pretty stretchy. The width of the band is the same for all sizes at 2 inches. And the fourth column is the most important to remember. So this is the number of stitches you need to work for row 1 for your size. Then from row 1 on, the stitch count is going to remain the same. But take note of how many stitches you need for your size. In the last column is the approximate yardage needed for each size. With any wearable item, it's always a safe bet to check your gauge to ensure your headband will be the accurate size, so I have added a gauge pattern to the description box down below. Now, if you're ready, let's get making. We're going to start with a foundation half double crochet row. That's where we work our foundation chain and our first row of half double crochets all at the same time. If you'd prefer though, you can also just work a regular chain, then work a row of half double crochets into it for row 1. Just make your chain 1 more than your stitch count, then work your first half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So we're going to begin with a slip knot on our hook, and then we are going to chain 2. Then you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook, and this is going to create our first foundation chain. So right there is our chain, and now we need to finish our stitch for our half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on our hook, and there is our half double crochet. So we just created our foundation chain and our half double crochet stitch all in one. So let's do another one. So we're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that first foundation chain we created. So those 2 loops on the bottom, we're going to insert our hook into, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on our hook. That's going to create our next foundation chain. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook to create our half double crochet. So there we created another one. So once again, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the last foundation chain we created. So those 2 loops on the bottom there. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook to create the foundation chain, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on our hook to create our half double crochet. So there we've just created 3 foundation half double crochets, and we're just going to keep doing this until you reach as many stitches as you need for your size. So far we've made 3 and we're on to our 4th. So just keep repeating this until you reach as many stitches you need for your size. I'll show you one more time how to do this. If you still need some practice, feel free to pause the video and go back and redo it. We're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the last foundation chain that you created, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook to create the next foundation chain, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook to create the half double crochet. So just keep going. If you need to practice this a little bit, that's no problem. It's a little bit weird to get used to, but I promise once you get it, you're going to love it. It makes doing your foundation row so much quicker. So just keep going until you reach as many stitches as your size calls for, and then I'm going to catch back up with you at the end of row 1. So I just finished row 1 and this is what it's looking like. So you should have as many stitches as your size calls for. And now we are going to work back the way we came. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now we're on to row 2, and for row 2 we're going to be working back into row 1. So this is going to be the front of our headband, so it's going to have all that beautiful texture. So to create some of that texture, we're going to be working for row 2 a single crochet in the back loop only in each stitch across. So that's going to create a nice rib texture on the front. So when you look at the top of your stitches, you'll see that there is a front loop and a back loop. So the front loop is closest to you and the back loop is furthest away. So front loop and back loop. So we are going to work a regular single crochet, but working in the back loops only. So starting in that very first stitch, you're going to insert your hook into the back loop of that first stitch, then pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So there we just created a single crochet in the back loop only. You can see that texture poking through already. So we're just going to repeat that all the way across for row 2. So insert your hook into the back loop only of the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So just repeat that all the way across for row 2. So I'm just coming up to the end of row 2. So this is what our headband is looking like so far. So you can see that little bit of rib texture we created by working in the back loop. So this is the front of our headband. So now we're on to row 3. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now for row 3, that's where we're going to be adding in our Pico single crochet stitches. So we work those on the back side because they're going to poke through to the opposite side, so you'll see it on the front of our headband. So to start row 3, we are going to work a regular single crochet into the first stitch. So we're working into both of the loops. So just work a regular single crochet. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. And then in the next stitch, we're going to work a Pico single crochet. So this is our little bumpy stitches. So to work a Pico single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through the first loop on your hook once. Yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook again. And then for a third time, yarn over and pull through that first loop on your hook. So there we have like a little chain 3. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. You're going to push that chain 3 to the back. And then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. And then when we do that, that little chain 3 is going to poke out on the opposite side. So you can see there, that's why we work it on the wrong side, because it's going to poke through to the back. So we're going to see that on the front of our headband. So we're just going to repeat those 3 stitches all the way across. Single crochet, picot single crochet, single crochet. So between each picot single crochet, there will be 2 single crochets. So we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. Then picot single crochet into the next. So insert your hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook for a second time. Yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook for a third time. Yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. Push that chain 3 to the back, and then single crochet into the next stitch. And so there you can see our little picot single crochets. So again, we're just going to repeat those 3 stitches all the way across for row 3. Single crochet, picot single crochet, single crochet. And there's going to be 2 single crochet stitches between the picot single crochets. And if you find that your picot single crochet stitches are a little bit flat, you can just pick them out with your fingers. Sometimes they get squished in. So I'll show you one more time. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch, picot single crochet into the next, insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook once, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook twice, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook for a third time, then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook, push that chain 3 to the back, and then single crochet into the next stitch. So just keep repeating that across for row 3. So I just finished row 3. So this is what the back side of our headband is looking like. And when you flip it around, here is the front side. So you can see all those little picot single crochet stitches. Again, if you find that they're kind of squished down, you can pick them out with your fingers. So now we're on to row 4. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And for row 4, we are just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. So it might be hard to see some of the stitches because they're hiding behind those picot single crochets. So you can kind of fold them down and then you can see the stitches at the top there. So the first single crochet is just going to be to the right of that first picot single crochet. And then the next one's going to be kind of behind it. So you can kind of pull down this picot single crochet stitch with your thumb if you're having a hard time seeing it. And then we're just going to keep working 1 single crochet into each stitch across for row 4. So I just finished row 4, and this is what the front of our headband is looking like so far. So now we're on to row 5. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And for row 5, we're just going to work 1 half double crochet into each stitch across. So to half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So we're just going to repeat that all the way across, 1 half double crochet into each stitch across for row 5. So at the end of row 5, your headband should be looking like this. We have 1 more row to do, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're on to row 6. So for row 6, we're going to work in the back loop again. So we're going to do our single crochet in the back loop only. So to get that same ribbing effect we got at the bottom, we're going to do the same thing. So again, working in the back loop only, we're just going to work a single crochet in each stitch across. So there's our back loop. So working in the back loop, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So for row 6, just repeat single crochet in the back loop only in each stitch across. So at the end of row 6, this is what your headband should be looking like. So now we're done the main body of our headband, but we need to add the ties. So we are going to keep our yarn attached, and we're going to start off by working down the left side of our headband. So I'm going to turn my headband clockwise so that the left side of my headband is facing me like so. And then working into the edge of each row, we are going to work one single crochet. So we worked 6 rows for our headband. So we are going to work 6 single crochets down the side of our headband, working into the edge of each row. So just try and evenly single crochet down the side. Since we use different stitches, they're not all going to be perfectly aligned. So fit your single crochet wherever you can, trying to grab the very edge of each stitch. I like to make sure I'm working where there's 2 loops there so it's nice and secure. And then for my very last one, I'm going to work it where my knot is from my very first row. So there I have 6 single crochets worked across. So that is row 1 of our first tie. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're on row 2 of our tie. And for rows 2 to 4, we're just going to single crochet into each stitch across, chain 1 and turn. So for rows 2, 3, and 4, just single crochet across. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn, and repeat until the end of row 4. When you reach the end of row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're on to row 5. So we're going to start to decrease the end of our tie. So we're going to work a single crochet 2 together in our first 2 stitches. So that's turning 2 stitches into 1. So insert your hook into the first stitch and pull up a loop. Then insert your hook into the second stitch and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So there we worked a single crochet 2 together, so we turned 2 stitches into 1. And then in the next 2 stitches, we're going to work a single crochet. And then we're going to single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. So insert your hook and pull up a loop. Insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So now we have 4 stitches at the end of row 5. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now for the next 6 rows, so rows 6 to 11, we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. When you reach the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're just going to repeat that all the way to the end of row 11. So the next 6 rows, just single crochet into each stitch across. When you reach the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. And just continue that into the end of row 11. So I'm just at the end of row 11. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to work another decrease row. So we're going to single crochet 2 together in the first 2 stitches. And then single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. So now our stitch count at the end of row 12 is 2. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And for row 13, we're going to single crochet 2 together one more time in those last 2 stitches. So now our stitch count is 1. And there we have our first tie. So now I'm going to tie off my yarn. So I'm just going to chain 1, cut off my yarn, leaving a few inches, enough that I can weave in that end. pull my yarn through. So there we go, there we have our first tie on the left side of our headband. So now we need to repeat what we just did on the other side of our headband. So now moving over to the right side of our headband, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to attach our yarn to the bottom of our headband and work the opposite side. So just like so, we're going to turn our headband counterclockwise, attach your yarn to the bottom row, so I'm going to pull my yarn through there, and then I'm going to chain one to secure it. So just like we did on the left side, we are going to work one single crochet into the edge of each row across. So we're going to work 6 single crochets. So I'm going to single crochet where I attached my yarn, and then 1 into each row up for a total of 6 single crochets. And then at the end of row 1, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now for rows 2 to 4, we're just going to single crochet into each stitch across. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. And we're just going to repeat that for the next 3 rows, rows 2 to 4. At the end of row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn. For row 5, we're going to single crochet 2 together in the first 2 stitches, single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. At the end of row 5, our stitch count is now at 4. And now for rows 6 to 11, we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. Just going to do that for a total of 6 rows, rows 6 to 11. At the end of row 11, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now onto row 12, we are going to single crochet 2 together in the first 2 stitches, then single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. So our stitch count is now at 2. Chain 1 and turn. For row 13, we're going to single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. And there we have our second tie. So I'm going to tie off my yarn. So I'm going to chain 1, cut off my yarn, pull it through. And there we have our headband. So now I just need to weave in all of my ends. So I'm going to weave those in on the back side. And then once I'm done weaving in all my ends, I'll show you how to tie it up. So weave in your ends first, and then we will tie the ties together. So once all your ends are weaved in, we can tie our ends together. So I'm going to lay my headband with the right side facing down and the wrong side facing up, and then bring the ends together like so. And then we're going to tie these together, and I'm going to try and work the knot around rows 6 to 11 on each side. So I'm going to fold one side over the other like so, bring that bottom end around into the back, and then we're going to tie them together one more time for a knot. And then I'm going to pull it nice and tight to secure our knot. And it's a little messy once you get started, but then you can maneuver it to make it as you want. So the ends are a little bit short, but they're very stretchy, so don't be afraid to pull on them to get a nice secure knot. And then once they're tied together, you can maneuver them, move them around, stretch them out, push them back in, do whatever you need to do to get your knot looking nice. So you want the two ends to be sticking out the front. And just try and get them as even as possible. And then you just keep maneuvering them around. You can tighten them, you can loosen it, do whatever you need to do to get them to be looking nice. So they stretch out quite a bit, but you can kind of push them back in, reshape them, and just have them pointing out the top like so. And yeah, just keep maneuvering it until you get it looking as you want. And once you have your knot all done, we are finished with our skinny Pico headband. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget you can find this pattern and many more free crochet patterns on my blog, theturtletrunk.com. If you want to show off photos of your finished creations, please tag me at The Turtle Trunk on Facebook and Instagram so I can see them. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you're notified as soon as I have a new video up. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.